Panthers. Finally, a side that I think we can be positive about for 2024. It's been a dull video with some predictions. So, Adam, your favourite side. Go through the gains and losses you can probably do, actually.
Yeah, they're in trouble here. I don't think they'll make the finals this year. But Paul Alamotti, as we said, off to the Bulldogs, pictured in his New South Wales Emerging Blues jersey. Dane Laurie to the Tigers.
The only good photo I could find.
Did Dane Laurie come back and then go again?
Yeah, you're doing what I've done. They're signed to the Panthers.
Oh, yeah, they have. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Dane Laurie, he's come back.
Right.
Well, you may left Penrith.
The top where it says gains, all right? Gains means they are.
I was confused by that one because he's done the old back and forth, you know. Go off earn some good money elsewhere, then come back on a lower contract. Riley Price, Cowboys, Brad Snyder, Raiders. The losses there, Jack Cogger off to the Knights, and that's a huge loss the way he's playing at the end of the year, especially the fact they've let go of Luai. Stephen Crichton to the Bulldogs, Zach Hoskins to make salary cap room to the Raiders, Tom Jenkins to the Knights, Spencer Lanu to the Roosters, and Jamin Semin, the weak gutted dog, to the Bulldogs. I believe Canberra were after him, but that was never going to happen. Look, I think we can add, and I've said this before, after 6 to 7 rounds, Jerome Luai to the Tigers to that list of losses. He won't finish the year at the Panthers. It's my prediction.
Oh, at the Tigers, that's a big one.
Yeah, well,
he won't finish the year at the Tigers.
At the Panthers.
Wow, look out. We can't even talk about this list. Adam's fast forward to 2025. So
yeah, there. Panthers have already won.
Obviously, it's hard to go past some of those losses, but they're getting picked apart. We see that with premiership winning sides, and it basically is just automatic. You lose a number of players each year, which they have done, and it's just been basically greatness that they've been able to do what they've been able to do for the last 3 years. There's people out there going they can't do a fourth, but why not? They've been written off the last 2 other years, and they've been able to do it. The thing I like with this gains and losses, the gains, they've recruited some sort of younger players, but they're promising players as well. They're players that have a lot of upside and potential to it. Where we've seen some of the other clubs I've spoken about today have sort of just thrown signings just for the sake of, I feel like, getting some players in. They need to fill up some numbers, where we know Alamotti's got some actual promise. We've seen that at the Dogs. We know Laurie in the right environment can actually play some decent football. And that I've been here and he's been trying to train at 5'8" as well. So he's trying to look at potentially getting that Luai spot.
Getting ready to take Luai's spot after round 10, yeah.
Riley Price from the Cowboys is a great young player, and Snyder as well, who I believe actually he started the Raiders last year and ended up going to Super League for a few, I think it was half the season. Did play some good footy and then came back over. So some good young players, and obviously Crichton's massive. I think out of that list and out of the whole of the NRL, I think that's the biggest loss, and I don't think many people are giving it the credit it deserves, because he got Penrith out of a little bit of trouble, or a fair bit of trouble on multiple occasions throughout last year. And with his kicking game, he can kick on the last, and we've seen that little grubbers to just get Penrith there as a repeat sets and the like. And I think Stephen Crichton is a huge loss.
Crichton is a huge loss and a huge pickup. Like, as you said, I think that's probably the best signing for this year. And the Bulldogs have done really well to get him there. I still think that Cogger is quite a big loss in terms of those halves when people either are injured or suspended. And I'm excited to see him back at the Knights, and hopefully he can fit into a starting side somewhere. But yeah, I think Crichton is being a little bit underrated in terms of how big of a loss that is for the Panthers. Just having a look at the re-sign. So they've got To'o, Yo, until 2027, Liam Martin as well. Moses Leota. I think there's going to be a couple of clubs that are going to try and really hard, especially if the Panthers stay within that top 4, to try and wean them off those last year of those contracts to try and get them out of the Panthers, because their salaries are only going to go up. They keep winning. I think. I think there'll be a lot of clubs that'll be holding off to really try and entice those guys over to them. And let's face it, they'll probably all end up at the Bulldogs anyway. So,
or the Tigers. Let's not forget, Nathan Cleary's young and in love and could end up over in French rugby in a couple of years anyway. So
the other big thing I want to mention on the losses is Zach Hosking, who had a great year last year. I think he's a bit of a loss for him. Obviously, you've got a fully fit Liam Martin back in the side and Sorensen, so there's no real spot for him. But Spencer Leniu, who I thought has done a really, really good job for the Panthers over the last couple of years and continue that momentum that Leota and Fisher-Harris has been able to get at the start of games, and he comes on and just continues it. He's been, for mine, the best bench forward for the last probably 2 years in the NRL, and that in itself is a really big loss and a lot of pressure on some of these younger forwards coming through for Penrith to really hit the ground running, like your Maverick guys that you can see there in the re-signed. I believe he's going to get probably that shot to be that guy, and a bit of pressure early on.
What's
even
the
with the last
there?
name, that's more.
I think Spencer's the biggest loss for sure.
Yeah.
Spencer Leniu's the biggest loss for sure on that list. He's touched on Crichton.
Bigger than Stephen Crichton.
Yeah, because Crichton's not a great defensive centre. I know he has some wonderful things in attack. I don't rate him as a defensive centre. I never have. So the fact they've brought in Alamotti, who also isn't a great defensive centre, is definitely going to be where their weakness is in the centres. Once again, that's where teams have beaten them before. Like playing through the middle, getting that physical grind with them. Well, there's pretty much only one team that can beat them. And then spread it out wide and get some early ball and go through their centres, because they like to jam in a little bit out in their edges. So the fact they brought Alamotti in, young and experienced, you think he'd walk straight to the centres, losing Crichton. I can't see where Laurie's going to fit into the team at all. And, losing Spencer to the Roosters, who had so much mongrel in the forward pack, like, I know he's coming off the bench most of the time, wasn't he? Because they had, obviously, the starting pack there, but it was intimidating coming off the bench. And they've just lost that. Teams will pick them apart. If teams play it possibly, they'll pick them apart through the middle of the field as well when they go to their bench.
Yeah, no, I agree. Recruitment, what are we rating this one? I've got him an 8 because I do, as I said, I actually like the fact that they're young, exciting players coming through that actually they've got a role to play and can play footy. They're not just young ones that they're hoping can do something. Obviously, the losses, as I said, it's expected. The fact that they have won 3 comps in a row, they're getting picked apart. So they're always going to lose a couple of those big name players. I just think they've been able to fill the gaps quite well.
I've given them a 7. For those guys coming in, they are clear signings. They're not just signings for the sake of it. They know their role that they're going to play potentially, but also just in their re-signing column. So Dylan Edwards to 2028 is massive. Toto, we touched on till 27. Leota till 27. So they've done some really good in-house stuff there as well to try and keep those guys there whilst they can. So 7.
I got him a 5, but I wouldn't be concerned about it, giving him a 5. It's given the fact that, not last year, the year before, they won every single grade through the juniors. And one thing Penrith's done incredibly well over the last, we'll say, 10 years probably now, has brought their junior players through. And that's why they're such a strong club. So, look, you can't rate them too high given on what the fact they've lost. You've got a New South Wales centre. Jack Cogg, obviously, did some wonderful things at the end of the year. Spencer Leniu is obviously one of the best front rowers in the game. Semmons, nothing. But, sorry, Semmon, I actually don't mind Jamin as a person and as a player. He's just easy to pick on. But what they've lost there is obviously huge. So you can't say the recruitment's been great, but as Joel said, it's expected. So if they keep bringing these players through, it's a thing that's going to have to keep happening. Like, look at their off-contract list. They've obviously only signed Alamotti on a 1-year deal. If he comes and stands out for Penrith this year, which he should in that team with the best halfback in the game there, and if he works on his defence, they might be able to afford to keep him at the end of the year. There's a big possibility that the more, as Jeremy said, the more these players get better and the more they earn, they might be able to keep him. Like someone like Mitch Kenny, probably going to let go because they've got Sonny Luke there. Talon Mail, his brother pretty much come out and said all 3 of the brothers are going to one club, so he's gone. Yeah. Tyron Peachy, he's due for the Super League. Garner's starting to bounce around. He'll probably end up in the Super League as well. So it's
and Dane Laurie's only on a 1 year as well.
Yeah, and he'll be in the Super League as well. I can't see how he's going to fit in the team. He'll spend most of the reserve grade, besides potentially Origin time or injuries.
He might be 5'8" next year. See what happens.
Might be 5'8" after round 10. I believe they've actually. I don't know his name. But I believe they've actually got a pretty good young 5'8" coming through. And it's one of the reasons they originally let go of Cogger. I don't know what his name is. I can probably look up here their top 30 squad and work it out. But he...
To be honest, they've got very good kids coming through in every position, so it would not surprise me that they've got a couple of
strong clubs
set up perfectly out there. But that was the reason they let go of Cogger, and obviously they lost Luai as well. So they lost Cogger to obviously make him their number 3, because Cogger was their number 3 half, and then obviously they've turned around and got this young kid coming through who'll step straight in when Luai leaves, you would think.
Yeah. Positives for the premiers, the defending premiers 3 times over. Obviously, there's pretty much everything you could say about that. I've just simply summed it up as been there, done that, and they might as well do it again as well. And I like the fact that they've kept that core group together, especially for this year. You've got your Lachie Clearys, you've got Dylan Edwards, you got Yo, you got Martin, you got the forward pack there. It's all been there together now for some time, and obviously Luai for now has been there or is there for this year. We'll see what Adam's big prediction is like for this year. But yeah, I would just think they've been there, done it before. Cleary is just an absolute freak. He has every year we think he's reached his potential, and he ends the year and you think this kid's actually just gotten better. Who knows? You can't even say he's hit his ceiling yet. He's still young, and I think Origin Arena, I mean, we won't touch on that too much yet, but that is one arena where I think he needs to really consolidate himself, and can improve. So, but yeah, Penrith mine, been there, done it. They'll do it again.
Yeah, I agree. And we haven't seen the best of Cleary. So that's what I think all rugby league fans are excited for, is to see what this guy can do, because he's probably one of the best that's ever played the game, and he's still so young. So hopefully he doesn't get his heart broken and he can continue to play good footy.
I'm hoping the
opposite. That was a perfect segue. I was going to say Adam doesn't love improve your game and your performance.
Well, I'm hoping he improves in that much that he goes across to French rugby. Mary signed for PSG, and
is that where she is? Is PSG?
No, she's not. She's at Man City. But we can move her as well.
Yeah. Well, then he's going to the Super League.
Everyone.
Well, no,
he's shipping everyone.
He's too good for the Super League, Nathan Cleary. He's not ready for that yet. I think he's good enough till he's about 34 to play in the NRL. But if he goes to French rugby, he's looking at probably $2.2 to $2.3 million a year. Still probably won't be the breadwinner in that relationship, but that's where his heart is. He should be across there. It's not that far to travel from France to England. Australia to England.
There's an issue with that. There is another Cleary brother coming through the ranks, and I think he's at SG Ball at the moment. Apparently, he is quality, and the initial talks is.
Because I hate.
No, I'm not saying better. Brother. I'm just saying he's quality from what I've been told.
Is his chin bigger? Whose chin's bigger?
I haven't seen that, but the talk is that they want to be the half and 5/8 for a few years at that Penrith club. Ooh. So I reckon Nathan will stay if his brother is looking like a chance of cracking that first grade spot in the next probably 2 to 3 years. Is what I'm hearing.
He set the standard for all men to pick sport over love. So if Nathan Cleary did it, anyone can do it.
Any concerns? I've written at an absolute stretch depth, because I've just said how good their young kids are coming through. So there's a lot of pressure on their kids to perform, but that's literally all I've got.
Yeah,
I've got pressure.
Injury.
I've got pressure on.
It's like injury to their top 30.
The whole top 30.
Yeah,
top 40.
I don't think even this. I think an injury to Nathan Cleary and nowhere near the team that they obviously have been for the last 3 years. Like we saw when he was out at the start of when he had that whole TikTok thing, when he was out suspended after he dropped Dylan Brown on his head. That explains what's gone wrong with Dylan Brown. And we turn around and look at everything he's done. They were pretty lucky through those periods, some of the teams they played, and the fact they had momentum on their side. So they lose Clear, they're in trouble. I think the only other negative I can find for them is the constant pressure. The constant pressure of, they've done what they want to do. Like, I know they come out and say they want to be the team to win 4 in a row. No one's done, obviously, since St. George did it when they didn't really count because there's no salary cap. But, the pressure, constant pressure on them to be able to turn up every week and be able to get away with everything again, because I feel like the NRL fairy tale got them through a bit last year.
Yeah, and then the Luai thing hanging over their heads, I think that would be another con to their season.
There is definitely stuff to that, because we heard him say that Cleary's comments did get to him. He has pretty much admitted to that in sort of saying other words than that, but there is definitely a little bit of smoke there, I feel like. So it'll be interesting, but as I said, if he does leave, I feel like they've got someone coming in that can just do a job, and Cleary can be the 7 and the 6 at the same time. He's that good.
I feel like he's going to have to be this year. Like, I obviously touched on it with my comments earlier, and I think I touched on it last podcast as well, but I don't see Luai really giving 2 fucks this year. It's as simple as I can put it. I don't think he's going to care as much after those comments that were made, and I just don't get it from Ivan Cleary. I think it came with a bit of bitterness as well. Like, he probably knew he'd lost him at that time, but he's just won 3 comps in a row. Look, he was terrible in last year's grand final, but I don't like Luai. I hate him. Hate's a strong word. I hate him on the field. Seems like a decent enough bloke off it, what he does for his community and stuff. But the fact that he pushed through that pain and turned up, and you're 5'8", 6'1", 3 comps in a row, you don't come out and make those comments, no matter what you think of the bloke.
Coach Adam putting his coach's hat on there. You actually seen a nice, decent gentleman right there. I feel like you're a changed man all of a sudden. I'm shocked.
I'm not. I'm saying
it must be the brick wall.
That's not footy season. It's not footy season yet. I haven't got the anger of Parramatta frustrating me every week.
He's got a live audience. What's our finishing bracket for the Panthers? I've gone 1st to 4th.
Yeah, 1 to 4.
They've got to have some bad luck. 5 to 8.
Oh, there's always someone that writes them off.
They can't get every decision and every little thing go their way throughout the year.